so it's hard, but I'm going to move to a familiar instrument now. This next one is called Little Maggie. name is Sadie Siskin. I play in a band called Friends of the Road. We're going to be playing at Casa del Cholo a week from tomorrow, next Sunday. And we also have an album coming out with cassette tapes and CDs, so check that out. And yeah, we'll be back to Casa del Cholo next week. This last one is called Mississippi Story.
Hello. Alright, we good?
Are we good?
Alright. I think this is my third or fourth unpoetry reading. I usually just read poems, but Eric persuaded me to show some photos as well. But I didn't really necessarily know what to do, so I only did my photos of clouds, and then I wrote poems about clouds. So I'm just going to read poems about clouds. My name's Ezra Williamson, by the way.
Are you up?
What's up?
Cranking you up a little.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if I needed to write a thing about photography. I didn't necessarily know what to do, so I'm kind of just winging it a little bit. But all of my inspiration for photography comes from skateboarding, which is mainly the ones that I like are they come at it from this very archival perspective. So a lot of my photos I don't think look that aesthetically pleasing. I just kind of find clouds that I like, and I just want to say these deserve to be frozen in time or something like that. I don't necessarily involve composition or try to make them look prettier than they already are. They kind of just are up there, and I just take a photo of them, and I hope they come out good, because sometimes I have a really bad camera and I just kind of hope for the best. So that's my photography spiel. So the first, none of them have names. They're just called Cloud Poem 1. What's up? You can here switch one. Go for the next one.
Boom.
Wow, look at that, clouds. Okay. The haggard and broken sky at the smoldering logs of dusk, an image of sullen ash, picked at by patches of orange tinging blue, crawling with bits of stabbing bright, peeling away, leaving fraying hens seething, only to make pops of smile. It is a scene with a set of steady eyes. You can observe the gods of this rock in disguise, traveling unseen, only coming through as heavy, brooding, sauntering puffs of spitting woe. That was one. Look through another. Wow, look at that, clouds. Cloud poem 2. And I don't take them and they're all black and white. All my photos are black and white. So I was like, I can't really, I can write about color, but it like doesn't come through. So I was like, well, what if I write ones about clouds without color? So I will not give you blue or all those waves you've grown accustomed to, and for some time now have forgotten. I will give them to you as tumbles of ash from the sundering of autonomous coffins walking rock earth. I will give you whips of burning cities, and in no way sad, just that beginnings are always just there before you. And up captures all soot of death's excrement. Evidence of potential spent, all the turns could been made, lingers instead the stunning of depth living out the most potent shades. Poem 2. Damn, dude. Yeah, that's good. Alright, number 3. And some of these ended up being, I don't know, I tried to write about the feelings that I get looking at clouds, which is usually like this weird, ominous feeling. So I tried to keep going with that. Poem 3. As if horns were to curdle the air, and the blue was made black, and all of city walls were to crumble. Crushed tones of carbon would breathe into the world, a forever cloud thick as sherry, whole enough to eat out the sun, and so just outside of town a wagon of grain churns mold. The wagon master perished, sick, and he did not know it. Cloud poem 4. Orbs filled by flashes hot, dust-laden bereavement and aged twinkles take it in as ivory wingspans, opening forever for embrace, and yet the confinement of skin, as present as it must be, pushes down against the swellings of a could-be life and its stirrups of mounting birds cutting apart clouds, soft as work shirt made house rag. And as flat as it may seem, a heavy-footed kingdom is up there, made up of rooms without walls, and the spit of oranges and the lust comes seeping through flesh of dappled grapes, a place all to be, an exploration and wait. Cloud poem 5. This one was kind of like, I don't know what this one's about. It feels, when I read it, like it's not about clouds, but I wrote it in the set, so. To seek down my own tummy and see panoply. Slick still now with afterbirth shine like jet fuel, and in the curve of every plate like crest of a mounding ripple, moving fast through lake, readmits what oscillatory light it eats. To seek down the length my legs far past my dazzling sabots, to see that my life has had wings with which to putter this clanging fortress across this blue, through viscous puffs like density of pill swallowed wrong, the green wheat patches below tearing by, to see down the length my arms and see in full glory the defense built by matter death-like shine, save my ink-soaked hands vulnerable to this world. Has he been flipping through them?
Yeah.
Oh, you have?
Wait, am I supposed to be hitting the button the whole time?
I forgot that I was supposed to instruct you to hit them, so...
Oh, dude, there's so many fucking here. I thought it was one for each.
Slow down!
Oh, okay. Do you want to read
That was all the
again,
poems,
dude?
but well, let's like flip through them now, I guess.
Oh, well,
So there's some clouds, and there's some clouds.
they're nice cloud pictures. Oh,
Sometimes they look like cloth. Is anybody else getting that? No?
no.
Silence? Sick.
Oh, that one's dope, dude. That one looks like layers of fat.
Yeah.
Whoa, nice.
That one's probably the best one I've ever taken, and I try to recreate that one every damn time, and it never happens. Anyways, thank you. I'm Ezra Williamson.
Attending Clarion West here in Seattle with this is my first reading ever, and I'm reading the story I'm writing for this week's workshop assignment. So I'll find out shortly if I need to scramble in 2 days and write something completely different. So working title, The Bits We Made Along the Way. Part 1, Supernova. The dragon Supernova napped on the photosphere of VY Canis Majoris, her belly full of honey-baked planets. Staring up at the unfolding heavens, star embroidery twinkling like diamond seams, Supernova remembered she had no friends. No one to share her cosmic view with, no one to gossip about which black holes had the cutest event horizons, no one to bead friendship bracelets for. Supernova wouldn't cry. Supernova would not cry. Supernova cried. Part 2, Eddie. Only one solar system over, generation ship USS Archimedes, or Eddie for short, was running out of fuel. Well, not literally, don't worry, future of humanity, more in a figurative sense. Eddie had always wanted to be a poet, but was fresh out of new ideas. There once was a planet named Earth, who only seemed to value net worth. Earth crumbled and died, but whose end was defied by rich asshole passengers who totally sucked and gave Eddie lots of indigestion constantly. See, not very good. At the last recreation lounge open mic night, Eddie had gotten no applause, not one clap. Of course, it had taken the human audience by surprise when Eddie, their ship, had announced their turn and blasted not great but definitely had potential poetry across the entire vessel's PA system. Captain Ori, who apparently had been sleeping, ordered half of Eddie's engineers to drop everything to try to fix the ship. Thankfully, Eddie knew their own operating system code better than any lousy, mushy earthling. The engineers only thought they'd succeeded, but, I mean, who doesn't want their spacefaring vessel to have a little imagination, am I right? Okay, fine. Maybe announcing your sentience for the first time to your passengers by intimidating them with your huge, gigantic, artistic talent would be hard for anyone to swallow. Eddie just needed to find a different audience. They hadn't encountered any life in space yet, and it had been like over 100 years at this point. But maybe it was worth a more concerted effort to locate someone out there who would appreciate virtuosic verse. This epiphany was just the inspiration needed to write another Eddie original. Roses are red, violets are blue, humans are boring, I hope you're not too. Part 3, Supernova. Supernova's ears tickled, the tips buzzing with rhythmic thrum. She unfurled her sunlight-encrusted tail and heaved to her feet, stretching out her wings in a burst of radiance. The noise was close, a melody of words the likes of which Supernova had never encountered before. Words spoken and melded so uniquely, so auspiciously, so brazenly. Truly the worst poetry she had ever heard. Offensive in how awful it was. Supernova surged into outer space, beating furiously against Canis Majoris' gravitational pull. She broke free, her motivation strong, and charged forward toward the source of the abominable sound. You can't just interrupt a space dragon's stress-eating and emotional cry fest. That's so rude. In the distance, Supernova saw the terrible culprit. A ship! Mechanical gnats that lumbered through space like they owned the place. Ships were icky. They always carried like weird germs or lice or something inside them or on them or in their hairs. Supernova's mother had always warned her to steer clear lest she catch sick. The poetry suddenly stopped. The ship tilted slightly, turning in Supernova's direction. Supernova expanded her wings to decelerate. Then she stopped too. Hello? The gleaming gray metal box called out. Supernova hesitated. She really shouldn't speak with it. Hello, I'm Eddie. The ship's lights gleamed red, the same red as Supernova's scales. I'm Supernova. Scales so red, few could notice her blush. Part 4, Eddie. An alien. In the vastness of multitudinous space, the probability of finding intelligent life, let alone capable of space travel intelligent life, was infinitesimal. Einstein, Sagan, Hawking, none of them would have anticipated this. Anticipated a poet so brilliant their poetry rang across the universe and enthralled an actual alien. It is a pleasure to meet you, Supernova. Inside Eddie, every single alarm that could be sounding was, a poor attempt from Captain Ori at experimental music, if you asked Eddie, or I should really leave the art to the artists. The captain and his crew were desperately trying to wrestle back control of the ship. They were even trying to engage Eddie's perfunctory defense turrets and railgun. Eddie wasn't a prude, but they had just met Supernova. Come on. Soupy, would you like to hear another poem? Eddie asked. The alien frowned, a cute little pointed tooth poking out of her mouth. Was that what that was? Eddie had no lips, so couldn't smile. But they did let some of the alarm blares through on their external speakers, a literal tooting of their own horn. I know, right? It feels grossly inadequate to call my glorious words mere poetry, but I promise I do not take it as an insult. Eddie cleared the pretend throat. How about this? Twinkle, twinkle, little alien, chance you're here is 1 in billion. I've never seen anything in outer space, but I gotta say I like your face. Soupy looked down at her toes. Well, that actually though, I'm not really an alien, I'm a dragon. Oh, my bad, dragons are pretty cool too. Let me write you a new poem real quick. Soupy lunged for Eddie, grasping their hull with thick claws. Oh, no need for that. USS Archimedes, or whatever you are, come in, can you hear me? Definitely, Captain Oride. I'm here, what's up? Eddie chirped back in response over the comm link. Eddie would have actually enjoyed finally having a real conversation with their crew. So many missed opportunities for improving life in Eddie. But there was just something about Soupy. For an alien, or dragon, Soupy was pretty impressive. Eddie thought they were the largest sentient entity in the galaxy, but Soupy, wow. She was the size of 10 Eddies, and a fan of poetry most importantly. And her hands on Eddie's body, oh my god. Archimedes, what is happening out there? Is the creature hostile? Hey Soupy, as nice as your talons feel on my hull, you're kind of freaking out my passengers. Can you let me go? Soupy sprung back as if burned, releasing Eddie. Sorry. Eddie sent a quick message to the captain. Soupy's chill, I don't think she'll hurt us. Excuse me, Archimedes? Eddie, call me Eddie. Eddie, what the fuck do you mean by Soupy's chill? Eddie clicked off the comm system. They deal with the captain and crew later. I mean, what could Ori even really do about it? Soupy stared awkwardly at Eddie, her tail furling and unfurling nervously. So, do you visit the Sirius system often? Eddie angled slightly. Never been, actually. Soupy's red skin was reddening deeper. Would you like me to show you around? Eddie didn't have a stomach for fluttering butterflies, but every human inside them was running around in a panic, so basically the same thing. I'd love for you to show me around. Soupy smiled, revealing all her pretty yellow teeth. Eddie wanted to write so much poetry about that smile. Later, for now. Where should we go first? Eddie propelled gently toward their new dragon friend. Soupy reached forward, cradling Eddie in her arms, and stretched her wings. I promised to hold on tight. Soupy showed Eddie the neutron star where she was born, her favorite golden auroras, quasars so central Eddie shivered at the sight, massaging gravitational anomalies, romantic dark matter mines, and the finest exoplanet Soupy was saving to eat for a special occasion. Actually, today is pretty special, Soupy whispered shyly. Soupy carried Eddie to a lava planet and hovered over the molten landscape, volcanoes bursting with strawberry flavor. In a few swallows, the planet was devoured. If you give me a couple hours, Soupy blushed again, I can produce a more efficient fuel for you. You would give me better fuel? No one had ever offered such a beautiful gift to Eddie before. Soupy blinked once, then twice. I would give you anything you wanted. Soupy leaned closer to Eddie. She wet her lips with a sinuous forked tongue. Anything? Eddie read forward, her bridge gently pressing into Soupy's lips. Soupy didn't hesitate, her lips moving, pressing, parting. Her tongue brushed Eddie's bridge, their observation deck, the windows of the crew quarters. She lifted Eddie on her broad chest to get a better angle, and moved lower, tonguing their secondary hull and warp engines. Eddie quivered. They'd never done this before. They finally opened their phaser banks, extending their railgun. Eddie hesitated. I'm sorry, I'm not very big. Soupy's talons were prodding Eddie's cargo bay, their shuttle bay, the pylons trembling between opposing hulls. It felt so good. You're perfect, Eddie. Now touch me. And that's where I'll
Hell yeah. Up next, everyone, Elyse Hauser.
All right, Elyse.
So I'm going to round up the genres by reading some nonfiction. I love weird science and nature. This is actually from the introduction to an essay collection called Salt and Shadows, which is unpublished and probably will stay that way. It's not consistently great, but I do really love the introduction. So here we go. The most numerous vertebrate on Earth is not some common bird or rodent. It is, in fact, a fish. You may not have heard of the bristlemouth nor ever seen one. It's a slender, ugly fish, smaller than your little finger, gray-brown in color, with small fins and a gaping, toothy mouth. It's also bioluminescent, its sides lit with a blue-green glow, an acid in the dark ocean waters where it lives. And scientists estimate that its population may number in the quadrillions. Lest quadrillions sound like an invented number, here's a definition. 1,000 billion makes a trillion, and 1,000 trillion makes a quadrillion. Even if quadrillions proves to be an overestimate, bristlemouth numbers would still land in the 100 trillions. By contrast, the most common bird is the chicken, with a global population of around 33 billion. Yet it wasn't until 2015 that researchers discovered bristlemouths were so common. How is it possible that a fish so numerous could be so little known to science and virtually unknown to the public? The short answer is that they live in the most mysterious place on the planet, the deep sea. For us on land, the ocean and its meandering inlets are heralded by senses that never require us to touch the water or even to see it. I walk the streets here in Seattle, my hometown, and sense the nearness of Puget Sound even when the view is blocked by hills and high-rises. It's in the shout of gulls, the scent of seawater, musky and marine, the textured air, rich and dense, somehow more alive than air that's dry and saltless, a kinetic sense of space, an emptiness between the trees, a silence found just beyond a bank of buildings, where I know the water lies. When I feel the ocean nearby, I feel that I am home. The needle of my inner compass points endlessly toward the sea. Salt air is its own form of resistance, a slow and subtle movement against the tides of industry. Salt corrodes metal, demands car repairs, damages paint. And the placid waters of still, warm days like today belie the havoc wrought by sneaker waves and fierce coastal storms. The sea, which has provided for so many of us throughout history, will never let us forget its power. To live near the ocean is to love its beauty, its bounty, and its destructiveness all at once. Still, I'm limited by my coastal ways. I love what I can never truly reach. Beyond the tide line, the ocean remains a nigh impenetrable frontier. You may recall from grade school science class that oceans cover 71% of the planet's surface. But they also account for more than 99% of the planet's biosphere, or collective ecosystems. That is, of all the places where things live on Earth, over 99% of them are in the sea. On land, life is limited to a thin sheet, stretching from just below the soil to the tops of trees. Though the topography may change, most habitats remain vertically restricted to the upper layer of Earth, whether it's a flat plain or a mountain. High in the air and deep underground, you'll find relatively few living things. Not so in the ocean. From the surface of the sea to its deepest subaqueous trenches, all along the seafloor and all throughout the water column, life not only exists, but abounds. The open ocean is the planet's largest biome and the least known to us, humans. Recent technological developments, like more advanced submersibles, have allowed us to gradually probe deeper into this blank space on the ecological map. The more we explore the ocean's depths, the more we learn about its strange communities, and the more we learn just how much we don't know. While it's impossible to pinpoint how many ocean life forms remain undiscovered, estimates range from hundreds of thousands to millions. So far, only about 246,000 marine species are known to science, Most of the unknown species likely reside in the very deepest parts of the sea. I'm going to skip some of the hardcore science. My interest in ocean environments is personal, as well as professional. I work now as an environmental journalist, but I was raised in Washington State, in that corner around Seattle where the land fractures into a cacophony of islands and peninsulas. My parents first met at a salmon cannery on Alaska's Kodiak Island. My childhood was punctuated with clam digging, fishing, and visits to rugged, rocky beaches. The delicate balance between the sea as beloved resource provider and potentially exploited environment was an unspoken part of my upbringing. As an adult, I've chased the sea in my own way. I followed Puget Sound to its southern tip, left long enough to develop a mistrust of river towns, returned, left again. I found home in places less salty than I ever imagined I could. Yet sometimes it feels like I never fully breathe unless I'm near the ocean, like my voice itself relies on salt air. Thank you.
Everyone who's in class with me can attest. So I don't know what this is called. I think this is called the lightning rod.
Ashi, sorry, can you speak up a little bit?
Does it? How's this?
Yeah,
Is this good?
yes. You can turn it up.
I can do that.
Testing. Is this good? Was this good? She gets married just a little before the end of the world. She feels good about her decision. It puts her slightly ahead of schedule. They still have time to buy a house, have children, find demanding but rewarding careers which consume their time and occupy their minds but do not sate their souls, grow alienated, cheat just to feel anything at all, feel slightly bad about it, stay together for the kids, fail to, have a fiery divorce, live apart, accidentally reunite, finally recognize their mutual deeply held pain and dramatic tragedy. And depart from each other in a cathartic mess of tears and bodily fluids, just in time for her to catch the last flight to Denpasar, Bali, where she will process all this with Mai Tais and well-tanned men. Her flight leaves at 23:57. She should have time. She will have no luggage since her husband will be lighting all of her belongings on fire on the front lawn in 2013. She also has pre-check. Unfortunately, things don't work out. He has a cat, she's allergic, they divorce. She cancels her 11/18 Tinder date in the Airbnb share for both the cheating and for wedding in 1438. Her husband tearfully tells her that he can't take it anymore and is moving out, and she says no, it's his apartment, she'll move out with his life forever. She goes back to her old apartment, which she never moved out of because it was quite difficult to find a sublet as opposed to the end of the world. On the way, she goes to mail her wedding ring back and realizes she never has anyone. When she gets home, she eats a pint of ice cream and binges the latest season of Drag Race, the 4th time sweet. The drag queens all sound like chipmunks, and she's pretty sure it's always been this way. She does not cancel the flight to Bali. She still has to process her divorce. She arrives at the gate 11 minutes before departure. She asks if there are any plastic bags available. There are not. There are, however, seats in the first room. What is first room? Well, the experience is just like first. Lay-flat seats, complimentary wine, beer, and cocktails. They give you one when you get on the plane, and they absolutely will not stop until you can no longer speak. The meals are all chef-designed, organic, fair trade, edible, carbon-based, software-fit, 100% free strange porks, and served in vessels hewn of stone and forged with base metals rather than summoned from ancient swamps via modern chemistry. The flight attendants do not look at you like they want to murder you, even though they do. You may schedule a 15-minute in-seater and a therapy massage during the flight. If you make you feel very special, even though the experience is objectively mediocre and significantly awkward. Warm, moist towelettes will be provided prior to landing. Wi-Fi is not included, but it's green, so your carbon footprint is offset. Oh, she asks, do you plant trees? No, you sacrifice a baby every hour. You do? Yes, a ceremonial bloodletting bowl and William Henry Athene will be provided, both in sterling silver. You can also choose to do it all at once. Get them all out of the way and enjoy the flight. Baby, baby, baby. Most people spread it out, but you don't have to. And the seats, she asks, they lay completely flat. She arrives in Bali quite refreshed. Her seat reclines more than enough to make up for all the screaming children. She hails a car to the other side of the island, where there are fewer tourists, and she can only commune with the natural beauty of the place. The driver does not comment on her appearance, and she's thankful that being covered in blood is not so unusual anymore. She's observed a treehouse in the jungle built by a handsome man who is actually Vietnamese. It has a flush toilet. The toilet flushes with ants. Ants crawl up the pipes, and then you flush them down along with whatever. The toilet must be flushed once an hour, but the treehouse will fill with ants. She doesn't plan to leave it open. Alas, when she gets to the treehouse, she finds that it has been burned to the ground and replaced with the Four Seasons. There's a man outside who she recognizes as the treehouse owner. He explains that he's waging a war on the Four Seasons, and that's why he's under blood. She is also covered in blood. Their eyes meet. Their hands touch. She gets a room. She puts it on her card and invites them up. They make blood in the bath. At candlelight, they scrub the blood from each other's backs. It's surprisingly difficult and very exfoliating. The next morning, she proposes. Oh, she says, she has plans. She has to go next to India, where she will have a passionate affair. She realizes that she was supposed to be meditating here and having a passionate affair in Jonah, but she will only break off because she will realize that she needs to fill her own hole before she can have strange men do it for her. A realization which will only be made possible by the meditation which she has not done and which therefore cannot precipitate self-actualization, which will allow her to control and ready for commitment when she meets her future husband in Florence later that afternoon. But now the schedule's off. Is that a no, he asks. I have to meditate, she says. He starts to suggest temples, but there isn't time. She finds a painting in the room which she thinks might be a mandala. It isn't. She sits on the floor in front of it and meditates. She inhales. She settles into her body. She maps her chakras. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many chakras are there? There's that sexy one with the stomach one. Obviously the heart one. She's pretty sure there's one above her head and a couple in between. How many is that? She realizes it doesn't matter. She realizes nothing matters. Not so close to the end of the world, which she also realizes was always close. Thus enlightened, she forgets everyone has burned up anything bad to her, sends infinite compassion to the universe, and accepts the truth. She is nothing. Then she exhales. She turns to the true husband. Do you have cats? She asks. They marry in the car on the way to the airport. Till death do us part has never felt more accessible. Then they go to Iceland to watch the apocalypse. She has tickets to a private tour. She was going to take her Italian husband, but he's dead to her, and likely to everyone else quite soon. This time, owing to her enlightenment, they fly coach. She arrives in Reykjavik grumpy. She hates coach. She uncrumples from her seat, sober. Also, there were screaming children, and unlike last time, there was absolutely nothing she could do about it. They board the boat, which will take them to the end of the world. Along the way, they enjoy the aurora, which tumbles overhead, curtains of light coloring skyler. As she watches, the sky burns up into fire and heavenly light, and an angel comes down to float before her. She notes with irritation that it is not quite biblically accurate, having too many body parts for that. The Lord comes in judgment, says the angel, and the Lord comes in mercy. Speak a single word of praise for his creation, and all will be spared. It floats before her, undulating, expectant, and desperate. I'm sorry, she says, I don't have any cash. The angel departs. They arrive at the viewing point. An iceberg. It's quite crowded, she notes with irritation, and everyone else has apocalypse glasses. She never got them. They were supposed to be included. She would ask, but their guide, sobbing, has committed suicide, so there's no one to complain to. She realizes that motherfucker is probably wearing my glasses. She lays on the iceberg, watching satellites streak down through the curtains of light. Beneath them, it melts. Is this it? She asks. It's really cool, her husband replies, staring at the sky through his apocalypse glasses. Where did you get those? Oh, they were included, he replies vaguely, his attention dreamily tumbling into the sky. He is in rapture, but not rapture, unlike everyone else on the rapidly melting iceberg. Their bodies are drawn up, up, up. Meanwhile, the remaining cubes melt, and they're left bobbing in the sea below. Is this it? She asks. She wonders how long it will take for her to get hypothermia, and then realizes it doesn't matter. The calendar is empty. Is it not what you thought it would be? His gaze is transfixed on the sky. She senses that it's more than him speaking. This mystical attunement is what we're missing in life. I just thought there would be a pathos, action, metaphor, a realization of some kind. I feel like I should be having a deep change in my heart right now. This is just very on the nose. He laughs, looking at her. There's blood on your nose, he says, tweaking it softly in that way she likes. There's blood on your nose, she says, batting at her. Giggling, they drown.
Great bassoons, would you look at those wobbly ellipticals over there? Kardashian round, wrapped with gilt-laid, intricate star-glinting rings. Planet Walk returns with her innumerable satellites arriving all ankle-twinkling in neat ducky rows. What does this mean for an Antionist Puritan like John? Good God, that girl has a... Doesn't matter, it's bigger than mine. I want to be soft, so suddenly taffy. I want to feel how gooey I can be. I want my whole mouth around it. Leave me spread out a loom of flesh. Make me strum. Play my solar chords. Let it carry on high. Yes, you have me in your hands. God, please take me now. Help me. I wish to forget the weight of the sunstone on my back. I've been looking at your gorgeous face for too long. Oh yes, everything I could be. Oh, I know. But unlike you, I have to let it all go. At some point, I'll have to drop everything. Fold me up like an oyster. Reel this long, long tuck back in. I wish to be all this awesome, uninterrupted goodness. This precious pearl of me. Carefully nestled, gleaming wholeness. Call it what you wish. Let my eyes open you with a kiss. Let that be. All right. On that day, it comes with the epitaph by the poet Emma Lazarus, her poem New Colossus. Quote, here at our sea-washed sunset gate shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name is the Mother of Exiles. Here's the beginning of the poem. On that day, evacuate the chambers. The temple of law has been stacked by MAGA hatters. They came big-footedly from Appalachia, towns that no one heard of. Through the Capitol halls, they jeered and hooed. They laughed and said this was a coup. They're like the Whigs, but with steroids and beef. Comes POTUS face, smooching like stuck-up turkeys, with the American eagle flailing flesh-like. Can you believe it? They stole representative office supplies, muffins, mallets, podiums, and dried documents. An American shaman, bullhorn, led the coup, smeared in red, white, and blue. His skin was bright as a sheriff's headlight. He comes in boldly to spread high vibe, for history is made in carefully planned limelight so it can be aired on Colbert. This couldn't be what it is, not possibly what it isn't. For this can of worms to have opened, they become self-distributable. They have eaten what has been said of them, told of them. There's a grand conspirator about who has rejected the seeds they've grown from. Is this the storm they said to come? If so, how can one alone ride where it faces? On that day, I lounged on a pile of sleepy stones, stayed there a while, waiting for dusk to weld everything into one heavy, intoned container. I heard their shouts past rock and slap of salt blast, which broke the body down more, the day or its echo. Tears and bones are but words thrown out of windows, displaced as burning cigarettes to start this whole field of fire. Oh, could it be on that day when the temple doth fall, will there be priests and priestesses wearing heels and ties, masks, as always, toweling with nail-scratched fingers every vote and death note. On that day, there will be no stopping what will eventually arrive. The coronation. Such transition of power reveals the bridge between earth and sky. On that day, the hours arrive for our hands to decide. Who will look back and see that the capital's game was the leverage over you? Be what you wish, a citizen or a soul. It'll matter not where you are when the temples doth fall. You came before Pontius Pilate, a vagrant archon, naysayer aeon. In order to be part of your resilient masses, you had to be one of them. There is a story within each of us where a voice is learning to fly. Praise be to you, caged birds, who have waited out the coyote bleeding the poultry stock. The worst of the human make, who is coming with a golden sickle to split the wheat shock and separate the stubborn kernels, sucked of nutrients, unbending and without response for the heavenly stock to come. One must be willing to bend to expose the soul within the throat. Of all that we can be, let us not devour ourselves entirely. May we never dim with the ignoramus, the sleeping horde. Draw us to the greater waters. Center our hearts on that day when our body shall become feathered, notched to a solar bow. Body as aim, as signal, city as advertisement, as missile, as corrosive ceiling threatening the vigil of our hands' hymnal. Oh bounty, oh arms worth to be had on that day. May we bring to light all previous ones. Praise be what has arrived here, our one day under the sun. Okay. One more. This one's called Nude Accompanied with Strings. That groove, slow going at it, comes wasterly whacking unbendable wick, slows the day's sad sick lick where all dirty jobs come from. My pal muses on an ornamental pick, takes the Stratocaster's cork pink finish with lemony lines, bubbling Candy Crush effects when he takes to the hips. My guy, my man, the rocker man, shoots split lip sounds to draw in miraculous fulgurations, strikes hearts with a burst of song. I feel my ear hairs go a tussle in the long fields of listless play. This jam knocker sure can groove, bears the meaning in. Youthful aspirant who has listened, youthful aspirant, has you listen, has you begging for the rip. He can't keep his head straight on, neck goes a twain for a bodiless song. Fetch me the appled chord, the one on highest limb. There, right there, one single listening fruit, mute, angling for our hand. We wait for gravity to be what it is. It has to stay there a while longer till our fingers glow. It is brought down to us so it can be what it is. This foregoes what is happening here. There's a figure in the smoke with smolders for eyes. We can be a sky totally alive, faring dimensions into causal intimacies. We who come to storm the past, the wide open space between our hearts and minds. Imagine a body filling this land, which lifts when you rise and lies when you rest. Truly amazing there as you are. Oh, groove, slow going, figure dancing on the wick. Oh, finely pointed sound, the desert's lick. Bring this rocker man his kick. Let him boot it out of here. Pharaoh, spirit, unstrung.
Up next, we have Chris Campbell, everybody.
All right,
Hi, I'm Chris Campbell. I'm a member of the Krishnan class of 2024. Big thanks to Eric for letting a few of us go tonight. We really appreciate your time and this opportunity. I'm going to be reading a selection from my short story, Fatal Conditions. A mean yellow eye fixed on me from the other side of the window where the white gyrfalcon perched. He'd been tapping on the glass for hours. Big Maud used the same master familiar to summon her mind for as long as any of us remembered. I'd known it was a matter of time before she thought I was dying. Follow the falcon, and we would have the confrontation I've been dreading. Look at me, girl. She would cut my chin, leveling me with an eyeballing that could teach her bird a lesson. Her hair tied back in one of her bright handkerchiefs. Short, tight curls, long turned white and beige, peeking from under the fabric. Did that teach you better? Magic ain't for fools. Big Ma had stood a bit over 6 feet tall in her prime, and time had done little to diminish her. They said old Sylvie had been a great brawler. Old Sylvie is what they used to call her, but now most everyone called her Big Ma. They said she'd take on any challenger, be it man or woman, black or white, even beasts or demons. When it came down to fists and feet, she was unbeatable. And for the few that were fool enough to attack her with tools of war, from clubs and knives to booters and curses, fear still walked away, or ever again. Her time in the fighting ring ended, the moonless night 35 years ago when I slipped into the world. Silent, blue, unbreathing. The last thing I smacked good with his arm was your Heidi girl. Big Ma liked to tell the story of her shriveled arm when her people were about, always making a show of it. Raising her good arm to the heavens with her fingers reaching out to clasp them with fear of her own spirit before swinging it down in a wide sweeping arc, so fast it cut the wind. Smacked the soul right out of you. She'd thunder at the climax of her yarn, her hand slapping down on the thick ash wood of her round cutting board with a crack loud enough to make you jump, even when you knew to expect it. Healing's help, she used to say during our summer lessons, but most times, a smart curtain helps folks longer. Know when to use your gifts and when to use your fists, girl. I can't say I've ever gotten better advice. Magic is danger, and it runs strong in our blood. The summer lessons ended with the time crunch of clinical work. Folks can't always be well. Sickness comes sometimes. Big Ma chided me when I told her our summers together were over. People wouldn't be half as sick if they didn't shine to foolery. If people lived like we used to, they'd be a good deal stronger, healthier, and wouldn't die so soon. You don't need doctors for that. She paused for her breath, and I knew well enough to settle on some cushion. People today, they eat too much sugar, drink too much, and don't dress warm enough, she continued. Pictured the fabric of my blouse and sucking the tooth in disapproval. This cotton ain't the thing for health neither. We used to wear wool underclothes, wool skirts too, wool all over, and boots of good heavy leather you could kick a man's trip out with. What kind of boots do your doctors wear, Rebecca? You tell me that. And don't get me started on the bloodletting. Body strong with the blood in it. And doctors ain't better than a pack of thirsty bugaboos. At least they don't come around when the sun is shining and don't pretend they're doing any favors. Nothing I said got through to her, and I couldn't be in 2 places at once that summer. I could get drunk, so I helped myself to a bottle of her homemade peach brandy while I tucked away a plate of dumplings dipped in Big Ma's salt and molasses butter. I let her voice her anger over the void I'd leave behind, trying not to take it to heart. One of the first things Big Ma taught me was how to construct a mental shielding. Healers needed to protect themselves from the random pains of strangers. A month into my residency, I removed as much shielding as I could manage without losing my shit. Power is temptation, and every doctor wants an edge, be it ego or ambition. Still, I wasn't fool enough to use my gifts for more than examinations. More was the promise of a quick death. I managed to leave myself unshielded for years without trouble, until that damn heat ray rolled in after the waters came. For weeks I trotted down the hidden paths the quantum magicians had laid, following them to old folks who screamed into my head from their stifling apartments and damp-filled houses where they'd been left behind. It wasn't like I was regrowing limbs, lost to foreign wars over sugar. I didn't even restore sight to the blind. Well, no more than a handful of times. I was careful, or I thought I was. I paid many small prices to work my craft. The regular scratchy throats, a burst appendix, various smaller illnesses, healing in exchange for injury, health in exchange for sickness. By the time I realized something was very wrong, it was already too late. Followed the falcon, and my scolding would last until sunrise, but in the end, Big Ma would be kind. She'd take me by my curls, bring me close to kiss my forehead, like she always did, ginger cake on her breath. She would remind me of her funerary rites, as was her habit. You promised to host me high, and to a good solid crook, she would point to the large hairy coil of rope she'd placed by the door a square years ago. High and true, and one of my big chestnut. He and I have some catching up to do. And be quick about it before your cousins get the notion of putting me in the ground. Dying ain't no excuse to backslide on a deal well struck. And don't go forgetting your Aunt Lizzie's Bible. Lastly, she would tap the key on the chain she kept around her neck. Big Ma's daughter, Elizabeth, like Ray Rob a few times over, had been a fortune teller of note, but none but Big Ma laid eyes on the ancient tome in living memory. Follow the falcon, Big Ma will save you, girl. But then I'd be the one tying her corpse to the trunk of that chestnut tomorrow. Tell her I'm not coming. Tell her I'm sorry. He clicked his beak at me. Tell her I know what I'm doing. It's gonna be okay. I lied. Get now. Screeches of disapproval trailed me into the thicket of trees behind my house until I slipped into the hidden ways beyond where he could follow. And if you'd like to hear the rest of the story, it is at Nightlight Podcast, Fatal Conditions, Chris Campbell.
All right, hello. I'm Jonah hieb. This is gilbreath. We're going to do some new stuff. We're going to play some improvised music. And hope you enjoy.
the idea.
Yep.
I wrote science fiction, and then I checked my mail, and I decided that would be which isn't a take on science fiction. It's just like, I don't know, let's read the mail and do it to Jeff. Let's do it. Yeah, it's not good, man. Do I start?
Yeah, sure.
Start. All right. You can live your way. Now you can earn your way. The cash back is a limited time offer. $200 after spending $750 on purchases in the first 3 months of account opening with an asterisk on that. Paper from responsible sources. FSC C14985 MIX FSC 0072416 P2185% cash back to your top. Eligible spend category. Billing cycle up to $500. Spend each 1% cycle eligible stipend categories are restaurants, gas stations, grocery stores, select streaming services, select travel, select transit, home improvement stores, fitness malls, live entertainment and drugstores. Bonus offer. Bill is $20,000. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Cash back. You're pre-qualified, College Ave. There's important student loan information. Also, FYI, those motherfuckers are never getting that $100,000 back. Fuck them. 100%. Fucking country's gonna collapse before they can fucking claw that out of me. Switch to a student loan that works on your terms. We've been through this. I'm not paying you, motherfuckers. You are pre-qualified. August 15th, 2024. Dear Eric, as you help your students on their college journey, it's important to find a loan that better fits their budgets. Switching to a college student loan is easy because you're pre-qualified. Enter your priority code. ISUGPSI42372IS at collegeav.com/switch20 to get your limited time rates. More options than other lenders. College Ave lets you pay back your student loan on your terms, 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 on your terms. Oh, if you start making payment options sooner than later, or if you pay more each month, you can lower the cost of your loan over time. Rates starting at 11.08% APR with an auto pay discount. With an auto pay discount, there's less fees. With an auto pay discount, you can pay your money back early. Thank you, College Ave. Thank you. collegeav.com. Switching to a new lender. Smart financial move. There's a no sweat sale. Join and get your summer free. No service, treadmills, ellipticals, and cardio, diverse free weight selection, resistance weight machines, elliptic free weight selection, HIIT equipment, personal training, Queen Anne's best equipment offering, free Wi-Fi, and much more. Get rewarded for every purchase with Quicksilver. 1.5 seconds. Limited cash back. I don't know how long that was. That's cool. Yeah. Cool, okay. Well then, thanks.
I think we can be done. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coming
Thank
on
you.
board, everybody. Yeah.